at you on the Coca-Cola video I'm just doing this morning or this afternoon on Coca-Cola, the real thing, the addictive drug, I call it. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what keeps people alive these days. But anyway, let's get into the Coca-Cola and what it's doing to your brain a little bit. How long, where this company is. Everybody knows it's based out of Atlanta, Georgia, this company, and it ties also in with the Center of Disease Control. They have a lot to do with this plant, and we all know, Coca-Cola had cocaine in it, the alkaline of the coca leaf. That's the Coke. And anyway, let's get into the 7X, the ingredients that are in Coke that make it taste so good. I'll cover the 7X. I'll get into the neurotransmitter adenosine that is blocked, and how when it's blocked, this biphase electric pulse can come right the fuck in. It's much easier once you drink Coca-Cola. I just told you that neurotransmitter is blocked rather. And also your pleasure zones are opened up when you drink caffeine, so it makes it even easier for the signal to come in. You get a dopamine fucking rush that comes into your head. And we all know what dopamine does. It just makes you horny, man. It opens up those areas of the brain where, like I said, they can bring the signal in. It's all part of where the signal's coming through. It's got a process somewhere. So they're hitting that area. It's opening up. It's ready to go. The Coke is amplifying it, I say. So it makes a lot of money. It does a lot of stuff to us. It's a powerful stimulant, caffeine. And there's other stuff in it. It's got brown dye number 40 and shit in it. I don't know what that's going to do to your system. All the stuff in it's not all that good for you. So you see what's happening with this manipulator that we drink. It's addictive. It does a lot of different things to us other than just make us feel good and stuff. You see how they use it as a amplifier with this mind control signal they're using. And it's being incorporated in everything, man, this Lily wave. You don't know it. You can feel it if you're a psychic like me. You can see it gives you a headache, and they're telling you, man, that water molecule explodes in your head, and when it explodes, you get dizzy. That's what's causing that dizziness. When you get dizzy, sometimes you go outside, you feel lightheaded. Could be because your blood sugar is low, but if you have a good blood sugar and you're feeling good, sometimes you still get hit with it, and you get that fucking dizzy feeling. That's that explosion taking place in your fucking head. So you got to watch out for that shit. It is happening. Anyway, I'm going to cover some more stuff on nanotechnology. I'm going to cover, I want to go also into some other stuff about mind control and body snatching. Body snatching. When they take over your mind, body, and soul. And I'll get into the soul catcher a little bit, how they can steal your soul or try to take your soul. I will get into some of that a little bit later and how they do that. But this main Lily wave I want to focus on, it can be run at all different levels. I'm not talking about nanobots. It can be activated regardless. These nanobots that are coming down, these particles, like I said, this is separate. It ties into it. The nanobot, like I said, nanobot is Borg Sid. It has two components to it, and once the Borg part of it gets heat sensitive. So when an ELF wave heats up the Borg part of it, it opens up and releases the reptilian shit. All the fucking goo comes out, and whatever agent they have in it. I'm not going to go into that right now. It's heat sensitive. A nanobot is heat sensitive. I'm not going to go anymore. Anyway, let's just move on with things about mind control and the things they're incorporating in it. The analog to digital signals they did 11 years ago was just another mind fuck. They're lacing the signal in for test patterns. We went to analog to digital, so we got to buy a digital converter. It's now easier to incorporate this mind control signal. It's in the games, Atari and everything. The Army came to Atari at one point, and they copied a game out there, and then they started, it came out on the market. It was released in Oregon State, and they were fucking people's heads over with this new game. It was an Army tank game. We all know that the simulation game caused all kinds of, the game was supposed to simulate LSD effects, but this game goes farther than that, man. It's using the Lily wave, and it's using an electromagnetic pulse encoded on top of it that's coming through, and it's jamming you when you play your video games. It's fucking the kids' heads up. It's programming them. More to cover on that. I'll get into it, but you got to remember something. They're incorporating it into everything a little bit, so you're going to get a little nano dust in your lungs when you're going outside. You can't avoid it. I mean, you can bust it out, get rid of it. with a certain iodine will kill the living organism in this shit. We're living in a weird world where people want to control everybody and test stuff. And people get tired of it after a while. So you got to understand the whole thing. I also want to go into body snatching and how that works and stuff. And having a it's not new technology. It's actually taking over your mind, body, and soul. I don't know how they can do so much with your soul, but they can invade your body. Sort of like in the Matrix. They have a technology out. I'll go into body snatching and how that shit works and plays into how they're incorporating this type of body snatching technology into the world today. But we're living in an electromagnetic thing, and how do we know that our reality, how do we know our reality is really a reality? How do we know we're in a reality state? You know, I mean, is our reality really physical is what I'm saying. So we might be living in a simulation. So I'll get into a little bit more with that, but I will go over the body snatching. I'm going to put it in cover 2 of this so you can see what's going on a little bit. But you can see the picture of how our brains are being manipulated, the neurotransmitters and stuff, how they're blocked with when you're taking certain things, and you can just see exactly how the neurons get stimulated when another thing comes in, and it affects all kinds of stuff in the brain. Your brain has compartmentalizations. I will go over, I'm not going to get into trauma-based mind control. That's more, not so much with the signals. They were doing other things with that. That's an older thing. They've gotten high-tech now with encoding. And encoding, when I say encoding, I mean digital signals that are decoded, and our brain will decode it. That's what I mean encryption, or I mean encoding. They're doing heavy encoding, and they do it in the games. They're incorporating in everything we do today. So people are going to get fucked up either way. There's no way to really avoid. Everywhere you go, you're going to be hit with the Lily wave, or a form of the Lily wave. And like I said, man, my experience with this shit was fucking freaked out. I had a bad time with it, and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm going to sign. I'm going to do the body snatch thing in a little bit. I want to cover also a little bit about the Royal Institute of International Affairs and how when you join them and everything, it's not an occult. It's not an occult. It might be tied into the Illuminati, but the Royal Institute of International Affairs is very political. Once you join them, you're friends with them. You make $100,000 a year. You can't fuck up at all. If you fuck up, they're real strict. They'll terminate they'll terminate you. I'll get into the royals and how they operate a little bit more, because like I said again, my family tree ties right down into the Egyptian pharaohs and the 13 bloodlines. My family tree goes right into it, so I'll just get into it. Anyway, bill signing, I'm going to do it in part 2. I'm going to talk about body snatching and how they body snatch you. Bill signing, peace, love, and happiness. The world is not what you think it is. Bill signing.